I must admit that I've only played around 4 of the Tomb Raider games, and those were the first 4. After Tomb Raider Chronicles, my interest waned and I was distracted by newer, shinier things. When the reboot came out on the Xbox 360 and the PlayStation 3 last year, I raised an eyebrow, but nothing more. There were so many titles being released around the same time, it was hard to sort of dedicate enough time to play them all. However, when they announced they were releasing it for the Xbox One, I became more than intrigued, mainly because of the limited amount of adventure games out there on the system. I was expecting to be pleasantly surprised, but instead I was absolutely blown away. Visually, it looked pretty impressive on last generation consoles, so although the visuals weren't a massive improvements on these next gen consoles, the base was pretty solid to begin with. The character models all look and feel believable, and Lara herself is a beautiful work of art. Every curve, skin tone and hair is lovingly crafted, reinvigorating the character and making it even more believable. Her voice acting is fantastic, and Lara's new pipes make her sound young and innocent, really making that story believable. The narrative that drives the story along is enthralling. The story follows Lara on her first expedition upon the Endurance, which crashes on a mysterious island believed to be the lost kingdom of Yamatai. What ensues is a roller coaster ride as Lara uses her skills to locate survivors and survive the Solarii Brotherhood, a violent collection of criminals, mercenaries and survivors. On the whole, the gameplay is a third-person adventure that sees the player running, jumping and shooting. However, there are various cinematic moments where you switch to slow-motion shootouts or find yourself dodging, sliding down slides and various little mini-games to avoid spikes and boulders and other hazards. Similarly, the game extends beyond the action as it employs various puzzle and RPG elements. Lara has the option of collecting artifacts from the various tombs littered around the island, and with the experience gained you can also increase your skills and build up your character, allowing you to get extra melee attacks, increase clip size of weapons and even increase your accuracy. The single player campaign will keep you busy for about 8 to 12 hours depending on whether you do all of the side quests or all the side tombs, and once that's all over, there's actually a fun and surprisingly passable multiplayer. The multiplayer experience is centered around 2 teams, the survivors and the scavengers. There are 3 different game types that include the Team Deathmatch, Rescue and Cry for Help, all of which can be played on 5 different maps. Whilst this seems a little bit limited on paper, it makes much more accessible for the casual gamer. I spent about an hour tackling the other teams, but there was 2 occasions where the amount of people actually dwindled. So if you do fancy the sound of this multiplayer, then I'd probably get involved sooner rather than later, because at some point there's just going to be nobody on the servers. Overall, Tomb Raider Definitive Edition is an enjoyable adventure that reignites the franchise. The visuals are stunning and the music and sound work perfectly to create an atmospheric experience that you have been yearning for. The characters and voice acting is spot on, and Lara has become both a strong and sexy female lead all over again. This time, however, she has a deep and scarring backstory that will drive all the future games. If you missed it on last generation, then definitely pick up a copy, as you definitely will not be disappointed.